How are you? My name is Alice Munyua. I'm a nurse practitioner, and my greatest gift is tackling diseases, going to the right source without using drugs. Because most of the medications that we use, to tell you the truth, they just treat symptoms. They don't go to the root cause of the problem. So today we're going to talk about anxiety disorder. And anxiety disorder is nothing but fear. When you hear anxiety disorder or somebody telling you, oh, I have anxiety disorder, they have fear. And once they recognize that, they will be able to deal with it properly, because fear is a spirit. I told you there was a spiritual component to mental illness. The fear is a spirit, and fear is real. But it also comes from somewhere. Perhaps something happened to you when you were young, or maybe something traumatic happened to you. It could also happen when you're old, because fear is a spirit. Fear looks for a point of weakness, somewhere that you are vulnerable, and it comes in. And fear actually lives in the mind. So when you have fear, most of the time you will have feelings of doom and gloom, or just being afraid of stuff. And people have different kinds of fears. People are afraid of being criticized. People have fear of poverty. People are afraid of being poor. And sometimes they spend the whole night thinking about it. They can't go to sleep because this fear is eating them up on the inside. So some people will take drugs to prevent that. They might take like a benzodiazepine. But what benzodiazepines usually do, they just calm your brain. So your brain is not responding to the thoughts that are coming in. And that's how most people choose to treat anxiety. But that's the wrong way to do it. For me, I would go to the root cause and deal with it. Bring it out to the open. Figure out what it is that you're afraid of. And remember, I told you that you have a spirit. Every human being has a spirit. And you have a spirit of power, you have a spirit of love, and you have a spirit of self-control. So even when you're afraid, you can actually control that fear. And when you know that you have a source, which most people call God, who can protect you and take care of you, then you're not going to be afraid. So there is a spiritual component to mental illness. And when we talk about anxiety, anxiety is nothing but fear. Anxiety is a spirit. It's a wicked spirit. It's an evil spirit. And it is an unclean spirit, because it's coming to just destroy you or make you feel uncomfortable, make you feel powerless, make you feel weak, so you can achieve the things that really God had destined for you to achieve. So with anxiety disorder, you're not going to be able to reach your destiny with that kind of fear. One thing about fear, for people who don't suffer from anxiety disorder, they kind of bury that fear. They bury it in their subconscious mind and their non-conscious mind. And when you see that happening, it can also go on to cause heart disease. So most of the time when I see a patient coming in with high blood pressure, I know something is bothering them. And most of the time, it's fear. So heart disease, hypertension, and all the other heart diseases that are caused by hypertension. Because if you have hypertension that is not properly controlled, and when I mean properly controlled, you're not taking medication to control it, it can go on to cause heart failure. It can go on to cause strokes. It can go on to cause kidney damage. So all these things are related. I mean, all the diseases look different, but really the root cause is the same. And the root cause is your thoughts, which drift down to your mind, and your mind chooses them, and then they go on to affect your body. Anytime you see a problem with the body, always look to the mind. And the mind is the first part of your soul. Your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. So what is the will? The will is the only power that we have. Sometimes, because as a human being, you have good thoughts and you also have bad thoughts. That's our nature. But thoughts should not make you so powerless that you're succumbing to fear. If you're choosing those thoughts, you also feel them. If you choose them, you will feel them. And you choose them with your willpower. So your willpower, sometimes we call it power, but in some people, if it's not very well developed, it can be the source of weakness. So if you choose fear, you will feel it. And the way you feel it, those are your emotions, and that's what your brain captures. When your brain captures fear, it gets ready to either run or fight, the fight fright reaction. And that's where high blood pressure comes in, and all other diseases that are related to high blood pressure. And just like I said them, heart failure, kidney disease, and also you will find high cholesterol also coming from there. But we'll talk about high cholesterol at another time. If you want to know more about how the body works, this is a book I would highly recommend. Think and Grow Healthier, because actually the mind has the power to make you wealthy and also healthy. So Think and Grow Healthier, a balance between spirit, mind, and body. This is a good book. If you want to take care of high blood pressure without medication, if you want to take care of anxiety without medication, this is a good book to read. I also have another book on mental illness, because anxiety, if it's not, eventually it will cause heart disease, because most people who have anxiety also have high blood pressure, because their heart rate is high. When you have fear, it affects your heart, and your heart rate goes up, and so your blood pressure goes up. This is another good book to read to figure out where the fear is coming from and how to stop it in its tracks. So remember, fear is a spirit, and it is an unclean spirit. It's a wicked spirit, and it can cause damage in your body. Thank you.